Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations, the very first one of 2021. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Ashed, entitled Purgatorial Rain, released just last month, the 19th of December, through Vargeist Records. And if you're not familiar with Ashed, it is a one-man brutal death slash grindcore band from Ontario, Canada, that, as far as I can tell, has been around since at least 2017 and is the project of one man named Richard Englehart, who handles all the instrumentation, all the drum programming, and the vocals. So it is truly a one-man affair here. And just counting up the various splits and EPs and full lengths that they have on the Bandcamp page, this looks to be about this project's 22nd release, which is crazy to think about, but it is the debut release through Vargeist Records. It is 10 tracks, clocks in a little over 28 minutes in length. And until Vargeist had sent me the promo for this, I had no idea what to expect from Ashed, as I had never even heard of them. And basically it starts with this harsh feedback, and then this almost tribal-esque sounding drum beat. I mean, it doesn't really sound like something you would hear on a Sepultura album or anything like that, but tribal is about the only way I can describe the type of drum beat that's going on. Then you get this double bass starting to kick in, and then finally everything just kind of stops, and then you get some cymbal hits and drum beats, kind of like, a tss, boom type thing. And then all of a sudden, it just launches into this full-on assault of the senses with not much let-up throughout this whole album, to be honest with you. And even like me, if you didn't know that these were programmed drums to begin with, it becomes very apparent while you're listening to this, especially during the blast beat sections of a lot of the songs. And there are plenty of those, along with a lot of double bass on here. The kick drum sound and the speed of it is especially where you notice that it's programmed drums, such as on track 3, Hydroponic Violence, and especially on track 5, Bloodshot Eyes. I mean, the double bass on that is just insane. The guitars have that kind of heavy, dirty tone to them with a nice crunch, and it almost has a kind of Swedish vibe to them a little bit, but then it also takes on an almost black metal like tone and riff style at times, such as track 4, Purgatorial Rain, the title track, right around the 136 mark. That to me just has a kind of a black metal feel to it. Speaking of that track, the same track, I really loved the bass intro to that. It has a really good tone to it, and I love the corresponding drum beat with the double bass work underneath of it. I just thought it was really cool. And going back to track 3, Hydroponic Violence, at about the 123 mark, there's this really awesome riff that I like, and I love how it interplays with the bass, and how eventually it gets even lower, heavier, and darker sounding. Then we move on to track 6, Vegetative State of Decay. At right around the 140 mark, there's a really cool guitar solo with some whammy bar that I thought sounded really good. There's not very many solos I found on this album, and out of the ones that there are, I thought that one was probably the best. Getting towards the end here, track 8, He Who Breathes the Northern Lights. About 29 seconds in, there's this really slow, heavy riff section with this really slow drum beat underneath that I really liked. And honestly, on this track here, this is probably the most audible that the bass is on this entire album. And, speaking of the bass, it's not too high in the mix. It can still be picked out at times, but track 8 is especially where you noticed it. But overall, I just find that the bass gets really buried in the mix from, the crunch of the guitars and the noise of that and the drums. It just really kind of drowns out the bass a little bit. Vocal-wise, he tends to stick to this kind of really low, indecipherable growl. There is a guest spot on track 5, Bloodshot Eyes, that guy has a higher register and kind of breaks up the monotony. But overall, he just really sticks to this low, indecipherable growl. They kind of have this almost process feel to him, or maybe he's cupping the mic or something like that. It's just something about it. It just sounds totally different than what you would think of a low death growl. And really, honestly, I think a little bit more variety would have been nice in the vocals here. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Overall, the music on this, it's fast, it's chaotic even, but it also has moments where it kind of slows down with some real heavy riffing and just really heavy, just heaviness all throughout. But it's also very unpolished, it's not, very mechanical sounding, because you do have some grindcore bands that have that kind of mechanical process feel. This is not here. This is just down, dirty, chaotic, brutal death metal and grindcore. If I would give this a 7 out of 10 personally. I will leave a link down below so you can check it for yourself. Maybe you'll like it more than I do. I'm not saying this is truly a bad album, but I don't know. There's just a couple things that really bother me about it. But overall, I did find it, pretty enjoyable for what it is. But, again, that's just me. Check it out for yourself and make up your own mind. See if it's something that you're into. If so, show this band some support and support Vargeist Records for sure. So yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.